Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Freedom Radio Hour. I'm your host, DJ Adam Cruz, and I'm here with my fantastic co-host,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome to another fantastic, stupendous, fantabulous episode of the Freedom Radio Hour, 91.6 FM in the Heartbeat of Sudan, D-Wild Music Radio. What's up, Mr. Cruz? What's going on?
We have to jump right in. First, Let's take a moment to let our listeners and our viewers know that the Freedom Radio Hour is here, not only giving you fantastic music, but we're here to be your number one source for music business news and trends from around the globe. All right, the name of the game for this episode is all about numbers.
Numbers.
The truth versus alternate facts.
Haven't we heard that before? At least here in the United States. Alternative facts, well, give them to us.
Well, the first side of the game, we have to talk about a lawsuit that singer Enrique Iglesias, you know, Julio Iglesias' son, became his super popular pop star, and he is suing his label, Universal.
Okay.
Before his legal team is alleging that they have been underpaying the royalties that they owe him.
I'm quite sure they have been.
Huh?
And you know, it does not surprise me, because when you start looking at all the loopholes that are within the loopholes, who you got to pay for the engineers, the lighting person, the person that picks up the clothing, especially when you go on tours and all of this type of stuff. Those people are going to collect their money. Whoever's underwriting it, they have to get their underwriters paid. Everybody has to be paid.
Well, I love that you said that, because you have nailed it on the head. Basically, what has occurred is that Universal has been sued by Enrique Iglesias' team, because what happens is they had two albums that they're in dispute over. The first deal basically said, we're going to give you a rate for Spanish and then English albums, because, you know, Enrique sings in both languages, right? But for the second deal, they've switched up the phrasing in the contract to say that they're signing a deal for him for English and Spanish language albums. The difference here is that one gave different rates for the other. The other agreement said whether you sing in English or Spanish, there's a rate, one rate. So the other problem here is that the underpayment has occurred because they say that they're owed 50% of all of the income from the biggest streaming outfits. To give you a little information, so you don't think Enrique is some sort of has-been star, he has over 10 billion views when you add up his most popular songs on YouTube. He has over 301 million plays on Spotify. So he's an artist that has garnered a lot of likes, clicks, comments, and streams.
He has become an icon, a classic. He's part of the U.S. Latino Hispanic lexicana of music. And because he
speaks the two languages and sings in both languages, he's able to tap into a lot more markets.
World markets.
Exactly. So the claim is that what Universal has been doing is underpaying. Why? Because the albums now, what they do is they are paying the album rate. What does that mean? Well, when you have, say, 10 songs on an album, and they're going to pay the album rate, they take, say, that 50% and they divide it by each little song. So they're not actually paying 50% for each song. They're paying a fraction of the whole project, which is all of the sides. A side is another way to say songs. So the legal team is saying, no. You owe us 50% of all income from all the songs, not just whether it's an album rate or not. It should be 50% no matter what. What say you?
Now, who is saying this? Universal is saying this?
No, Universal said we're paying him, but we're paying him at what was agreed to in the contract. In the contract, it says that we are to pay him the album rate for these particular songs that they're in dispute about. And so Enrique is saying no.
Are we talking about, because according to the contract, they agreed on that 50% rate.
Yes, but according to the contract, according to Universal, is that when it comes to the album, they're to pay what's called an album rate. That's a fraction of all of the sides.
Each songs. But that was not clearly stated in the original contract. See, that's where the words get tricky. Without that being stated in the original contract, you know, you have to side with the artist and the writer And the composer, according to the language he was given, it said 50 cents per the album, not per. That PER
is very important.
It's very important.
And the other allegation is that Universal saying that no matter what you say, Iglesias team, we have yet to recoup all of our costs. To which Enrique says, look at this 10 billion on YouTube and look at this all the stream count. You're telling me that I haven't recouped yet? You know what? Let's audit all the records. So right now they have ordered and they have claimed that they deserve to have an audit. So the name of the game, if you're listening to this and you're an artist, read and understand and ask questions about the contracts you sign. I've had a recent story where someone simply signed the agreement, sent it back to me, and then later on accused me of withholding information or being greedy in some way, when in fact it turned out that they hadn't read at all the agreement. They just signed it and sent it back. So the name of the game here, your call to action today is, whenever you see an agreement for your work, you are to read, understand, ask questions.
Comprehension is your best friend.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the latest drama with Spotify. Things have begun to explode.
Boom!
Keep it locked right here.
91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan. DY Music Radio.
Singer, songwriter, performer, and host Eddie Nicholas debuts his fantastic new album. Released in conjunction with mixtape sessions and Deck Music imprint, Eddie brings you a 16-track album full of fantastic jams upon jams, perfect for any dance floor. The album includes records like Fall in Love, Goomba, and Reuben. Check out EddieNicholas.com and TrackSource for his brand new LP.
Freedom Radio Hour. Live on Capital Radio 91.6 FM.
What up, beautiful people? Welcome back to 91.6 FM, DY Music Radio, freedomradiohour.com. My name is Eddie Nicholas, and I'm here with my wonderful, knowledgeable host, the one and only Mr.
Adam Cruz. And you got it locked right here on Freedom Radio Hour, your number one source for music, business, news, and trends from around the globe. Before we broke, we were talking about a lawsuit between Enrique Iglesias, the big pop singer, and Universal, his label, for allegations of underpayment of royalties that Iglesias is claiming that it's due to him. So right now we want to keep it moving because the name of the game for this episode is the numbers. Again, our last call to action was, if you are reading an agreement, you are to read it, ask questions, and understand it fully before you sign. Okay? With that in mind, let's jump into the latest drama with Spotify because it's all connected here. Let me tell you why. Spotify, as we've been talking about, is preparing to go public, but there's some updates you should know about. Number one, for the longest time, we have been saying here on the show that Spotify is preparing to go public by virtue of doing what's called an initial public offering, IPO for short. As it turns out, Spotify is actually doing a direct listing. That's called the DPO, direct listing.
So
what's the difference?
Targeting their
check this out.
People who subscribers.
So an IPO is usually where the funds are funneled through an investor or investment house, and then people can own shares that way. That's the traditional method. But with a direct listing means that the public can directly purchase shares of Spotify. So they're doing away with the intermediary, which is the investor or the investment house. They act as a conduit.
Who will earn a fee?
Well, they're removing that by virtue of doing this direct listing. But in some circles, they're saying that this might be spelling trouble, that Spotify's not able to really pull off a traditional IPO, so they're opting for this alternate way to do things. The other big problem that they're just realizing is that the founders of Spotify, Martin Lorenzon and Daniel Ek, they, while are willing to go public, they want to retain what's called super voting power. That means that while you can buy shares into Spotify, your voting power is of very little influence, because who has the majority stake? Daniel Ek and Martin Lorenzon. So Wall Street insiders are saying that Spotify is probably running into some trouble because they're saying that oftentimes if you have this combination of things that are occurring, the public offering may not actually work out. It'll be a failure, in which case they will not be able to become publicly owned nor traded. There's another problem because we've talked about this before. There's still a pending lawsuit to the tune of $1.6 billion. A collection of music publishers who have catalog that predates 1972 have sued Spotify because Spotify has not paid them their digital mechanical royalties. Remember, we talked about the universal lawsuit? This is a pattern here where you have those that have the money that are underpaying, delaying paying, or completely neglecting to pay. The royalties are due to the artist. Okay, so that's part of a bigger problem, because when you're trying to buy shares into a company and you start being aware of all of these problems, you start to get a little bit skittish. Okay?
Yeah, and you're talking about billions of digital dollars again.
Yes.
So, yes, tracking is of grave importance. Auditor.
And listen, it sounds like auditing is the name of the game on this episode too. And they're saying that Spotify is now growing and growing and growing, that now it will be surpassing 100 million subscribers. That's more than we've ever talked about on this show or with any streaming outfit. Right now, Spotify is looking to be the biggest
Well, then
one
why
out there.
why it just seems like they just always have all these money troubles, but you have over
because they have to settle
100 million subscribers?
Well, you have to settle on the money that you're supposed to pay out. Remember I told you that Spotify's biggest problem is that they're not selling a product like Apple sells a device, Amazon selling their Echo speaker, etc., etc.
But again, why would they need to? You got 100 million subscribers that pay you $10 or $20 every month.
Well,
I mean, my goodness.
Well, tell that to their website, because their website indicates that they're recruiting for what's a hardware and product specialist. So what that's saying is they want to sell. They're looking to get into devices, any sort of companion product to accompany Spotify, or home speakers, not out of the question, other sort of products that in the future you'll see. So there's a method to their madness. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Spotify in particular. I have to break down what some are alleging is a major scam, where someone is taking the royalty that are due to artists and finding a way to remove it surreptitiously. And we'll have to explain all about that. And where does it come from?
Well, he better explain that word surreptitiously first when we get
Where does it come from? It's not coming from Russia. It comes from Bulgaria. Let's take a break. When we come back, where?
91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, DY Music Radio, freedomradiohour.com. Check you back in a short moment.
I see your face. You're making me laugh. Mixtape Sessions is proud to present singer, songwriter, actor, and Mixtape Sessions recording artist Jacqueline Graham. Produced by DJ and label head Adam Cruz, the Jacqueline plea includes Inside My Head and You Showed Me Your Love. Check out Jacqueline Graham and the Jacqueline EP, available to stream everywhere now. Mixtape Sessions, music for the people.
Freedom Radio Hour.
And we're back live on Capital Radio, 91.6 FM, the Heartbeat of Sudan, and on the web at dywmusicradio.com. You're deep in the zone right here on the Freedom Radio Hour. We're your number one source for music, business, news, and trends from around the globe. I'm sitting here next to my fantastic co-host,
Eddie Nicholas. What up, beautiful people, and welcome back. I guess we're going to jump right into it.
Yes, we have to talk about it. So Spotify has been dealing with what some are calling a scam. Let me give you the backstory. Every week, Spotify publishes and sends to the major label and music industry insiders a list. What is the list? It's a list of playlists that have broken the ranks of their charts. So those playlists are attached to what they pay out in terms of stream counts. Everything's about stream counts for Spotify. Every week, they have a new chart where they say blah, blah, blah playlists are reaching this number because of the songs in it. It has so many streams, okay? So usually those lists are comprised mostly by the heaviest hitters. Who are they? Playlists that are owned by the three biggest labels that we have in the States: Sony, Warner, and Universal Music Group, okay? But for the last sort of 5 to 6 months, only really one of the majors noticed that there was a very strange thing that was happening. One particular playlist called Soulful Music and another one called Music from the Heart was breaking the records on the Spotify charts. It was like number 35 on the global chart, and it even at one point got to like number 11. Some are saying that it even broke the top 10 of the biggest earning playlists on Spotify. And so when the major realized that it wasn't one of his or the other cohorts in their little group, all of a sudden they started to be like, wait a minute, Spotify, something's going awry here. So Spotify did their due diligence and they tracked all the songs in this playlist. This playlist contained 467 tracks, and it had roughly 1,200 monthly views. And within each track had 1,200 monthly views, roughly. Okay, each track was just over 30 seconds long, about 43 seconds long. So not very long. So either one stupid scenario would be that snippets of songs have become so viral that they're popular than ever before, and people are willing to listen all day long to a playlist of snippets. What is the likelihood of that?
Very likely.
You think that people be into snippets? Why? Tell me why.
People's attention span is just like that. All you need is just all some people need is just to hear that little catchphrase that to keep them on their day.
It's interesting you say that, because I would have suspected you'd say zero likelihood, because you want to hear the whole song. Why would you want to hear over 30 to 40 second snippet of a song of 467
because
songs
you can put it on and it plays all day long.
Well, Spotify thought it was fishy. So they went and they tracked it using what's called the ISRC code. Let me tell you what that is, so you out there who don't know can become aware. The ISRC stands for International Standard Recording Code. It's essentially a tattoo, a watermark that's placed within each digital music file that exists. And it's a way in which you can track for this very reason. So all of these ISRCs for 467 tracks were from artists that nobody ever heard of, very unknown or little known artists, 40 seconds long, and they all originated from where? Bulgaria. So all of a sudden they're going, wait a minute, what's happening here? And they started to investigate these 1,200 accounts that existed. First of all, they're 1,200 premium accounts, so they're being paid for. And they verified, and these are from verifiable income sources. That means that it's not like a fraudulent account that's not really paying. They're taking that money every month. Remember, this has been going on for 5-6 months now, okay? Before the major outfits found out. Anyway, what ended up happening is they realized there was a bit of some are alleging a scam that's occurring. So 1,200 premium accounts at $10 a month, which is what Spotify charges. That's $12,000 a month. They're saying that there's 86,400 seconds in a day. An average person with one account will roughly equate to about 60,000 listens if the person listened to music incessantly all the time in a 30-day period. Okay? 60,000 listens basically equates to 72 million plays. Out of that, Spotify pays a fraction of a penny, which according to these reports are 0.004. So that brings in $288,000. So if you pay $12,000, this is all the music that you own. If you're a Bulgarian outfit, you own it. It's not like the popular records out there. You own all of these songs. They're only snippets, but you have earned basically $288,000 after just paying $12,000. Now, Spotify is like befuddled by this problem because they're not really breaking any laws and they're not really breaking any terms and conditions. So what are they thinking? They're thinking that this outfit has developed a way that scripts or bots are put into place.
I wouldn't doubt that either.
It plays on several machines over and over again in a loop, so it garners the amount of streams so much so. And it's also, and you have to know that 30 seconds is the threshold by which Spotify begins to monetize that track that's being listened to. So it's no surprise that we're only talking about the short time. They're saying
time enough to get paid,
and they're saying some of the bots might be set up so that it skips the track after that 30-second mark before the end and goes to the next. So it's not really playing through the whole thing. So what's the moral of the story? Basically, what's occurring is really an easy way for numbers to be manipulated. This is why we're always telling you, if you are an artist or a person that's hoping that by getting a certain number of clicks or likes or comments or levels of engagement means success. Be careful, because all of these numbers can be manipulated. And what it means is that who you perceive to be winning in your circle of independent music may actually be engaging in some of this, because a quick Google search and some money will get you likes and clicks if you really
Yes, it
want.
will, because even with Facebook, you know, they have boost your sales, boost your
Everything
content,
is
boost your
boost.
something. $5 charge.
That's it. And so what happens is you start to see the numbers come up and you think, oh, I'm getting more followers. And when you're not really sure if these people are actual people who will engage with you. That's why they're saying be careful if your interest is to get as many likes and clicks over, say, the engagement of people or having that personal touch. As an artist, you got to get out there and have that personal touch, and so that you can start to see some of the people that you're engaging with online. Because if you know that if you're, by and large, not really knowing anybody who you're messing with, there's probably an indication that you need to take better inventory, perhaps audit your circle of social media friends so that you're engaging with better quality people if that's an issue for you. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us at freedomradiohour.com by posting a comment under everything we're posting, because we'd love to hear from you. Download our free app by searching out Freedom Radio Hour for Android and iPhone users. And check out Eddie Nicholas. The Do You Want to Dance LP is out now. We have the ads running in between the segments. Check out the man's project. Fantastic 16-track LP full of lusciousness. Gotta check that out.
Thank you.
And of course, check out DJAdamCruz.com for more of my fantastic music. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead. We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time. And mad props and mad love and shout outs to Boy Jarvis. R.I.P.
Yes.
We miss you.
A legend for
the
sure.
The music lives on forever.
That word legend is often now as a cliche. It's become a cliche, but it really applies to Mr. Jarvis. And we're just going to miss you so much. You contributed so much. He was the first person I knew that was doing this live jam session to house music right on the spot. And I was like, wow, I got to see other people do it. Kerry Chandler, Richard Payton, others, Josh Milan. But really, Boy Jarvis was the first person I saw do that. And I couldn't believe it, you know?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So, our condolences to the Jarvis family.
Yes.
Peace and love.
Peace.